Welcome to Net Chemistry. I am starting with the combined geoscientist examination as per the syllabus. First I am taking syllabus. In your syllabus section 2 I am taking, and if you are seeing your question paper for the last year preliminary examination, question number 9 and from 19 to 24 all the question is from this section 2. I'll start with the syllabus first and we will find the solution for all these questions. Nearly 8 questions you are getting from this section. Okay, shall we start? Okay. First one I am talking about addition compounds. There are two types of addition compounds, double salts and coordination complexes. This is all of us know, but since it has referred in your syllabus, I am telling what is a double salt and what is a coordination complex. I am directly writing an example. If you take what is this? This is carnallite, right? And I am writing another addition compound FeCN2 two complexes, two addition compounds I have written, and first one we will tell us double salt and the second one is a coordination complex. What is the difference? If you are dissolving this complex carnallite in water, it will shows the properties of K plus. So it will dissolve and give the properties of potassium, magnesium and chlorine ions when dissolved in water. But if you take this complex potassium hexacyanoferrate, this is okay. Potassium ferrocyanide, we can say this potassium ferrocyanide if dissolved in water, what will happen? It will not dissolve into different potassium ions, iron, cyanide. It will not be like that. It will retain its identity in solution. This complex identity, that is a distinct entity, it will exist in the solution state. That is what coordination complex is. That is the main difference between double salt and coordination complex. Double salt will be dissolved in water and gives the properties of different ions, and this will not dissolve, this will not lose their identity in the solution state. That is the main difference between double salts and coordination complex. Clear? And the next one is Werner's coordination theory. So Werner's coordination theory is the first theory to explain about the coordination compounds. As per Werner's theory, what it is saying, there are two types of valency in a coordination complex. First is primary valency and secondary valency. So two types of valencies are there. I will explain with an example. I am taking a coordination complex, okay, CONH3 6 times Cl3. This is a coordination complex. This is not the double salt. It will not lose identity in the solution state. So this is a complex part and this is the ionic part, right? So Cl3 is having -1 charge, so -3. So this will be in the +3 oxidation state. So cobalt is in the +3 oxidation state, right? Now, since ammonia is a neutral ligand. So what will happen? Primary valencies are satisfied with this positive charges. So primary valency for this complex is 3 and the secondary valencies will be satisfied by the number of ligands attached to the metal. How many number of ligands have attached? 6 ligands have attached to this metal. So primary valency is 3 and secondary valency is 6. Okay, now this secondary valencies is known as coordination number of the complex. Later studies, now it is not known as secondary valency, now it is the coordination number. So what is the coordination number of this complex? 6 is the coordination number. Since 6 ligands are attached to the metal, so 6 is the coordination number of this complex. And if you see, these primary valencies are non-directional, we will say, because it is only this positive ion charge, but the secondary valencies are directional. Okay. What is directional? See, since 6 ligands are there, it will be in the octahedral shape. These ligands will be deciding the structure of that complex. That is what it is having the direction, and primary valencies are non-directional. Clear? This is what Werner's theory is saying. Next is effective atomic number rule. What it is saying, I am taking an example and explaining. Potassium hexacyanoferrate itself I am taking. Here iron will be in the +2 oxidation state. How many number of electrons are there in iron? Fe is having 26 electron, right? Here it is in the plus 2 oxidation, right, state, right? See, here it will be positive 1 charge and cyanide is a negative ligand. So 4 minus 6 you will be getting plus 2 oxidation state. So iron will be in the plus 2 oxidation state, means it is having the 24. It has lost 2 electrons, so it is 24 electron configuration, right? So what it is effective atomic number rule? This ligand will donate electron pairs to the metal until it is attaining the nearest noble gas configuration. That many electron pairs only one metal can accept. That is what effective atomic number rule says. Here in this case, cyanide is donating 2 electrons, right? Cyanide is a 2 electron donor. Since there are 6 cyanide ligands are there, 6 into 2, it will be giving 12 electrons to the metal. So totally how many electrons it will become? 24 plus 12, it will become 36 electron. So which is the nearest noble gas to iron? Krypton. What is the electronic configuration? How many number of electrons are there in the krypton? 36, right? So that many number of electrons only one metal can accept. That is what effective atomic number rule says. Always this metal is trying to attain the nearest noble gas configuration, then this complex will be stable. That is what EAN rule. Clear? Next one is the density of a ligand. What is the density of the ligand? The ligand can donate electrons pair to the metal through donor atoms. Okay, how many number of donor atoms is binding to the metal? That is what referred as density. Different type of densities are available. First we will see unidentate or monodentate ligands. If you take ammonia, hydrogen will be bonding to the metal. If you are taking Cl minus, these all are monodentate ligands. Cn minus, all these are monodentate ligands. Water is a monodentate ligand. This will be donating a single electron pair to the metal. That is what monodentate ligands. And the next one is bidentate ligands. This is monodentate. Next one is bidentate. What is a bidentate ligand? If you are taking an oxalate ion, COO, so this 2 oxygen donor, this it can bonded with the metal like this, 2 sides it can bonded. And if you are taking ethylene diamine, what is ethylene diamine? CH2, and if you see this can donate to the metal like this can bonded with the metal. 2 donor sites are there, nitrogen 2 donor sites are there. This is what a bidentate ligand. Okay, and another term is there in your syllabus, ambidentate. What is ambidentate ligands? Ambidentate ligands, for example, I am writing NO2. Okay, NO2, 2 donor sites are there, nitrogen is there, oxygen is there. Either it can bonded with the metal like this, MONO, or else nitrogen. Like this it can bonded. This is what ambidentate ligands. Through 2 sides it can bonded with the metal. Here it will call as nitrito. Okay, and this is nitro. This is what ambidentate ligand. Another example, if you are taking SCN, okay, SCN through sulfur it can bonded, MSCN it can form. This is thiocyanate, and through nitrogen atom it can bonded, NCS. Then it is isothiocyanate. This is what ambidentate ligand. Through different sides it can bonded with the metal. And if you see in your question number, in your preliminary examination last year question number 23, what is in your question number 23, it was density, about density of glycinate, immunodiacetic acid, and NDA. All this order of the density they asked. What is a glycinate ligand? Glycine is an amino acid, you know, right? NH2 CH2 COOH. This is what a glycine. What is glycinate? Glycinate is the conjugate base of glycine. What is conjugate base? H plus ions will be losing from this amino acid, right? So it will become glycinate is a conjugate base of NH2 CH2. It has become C double bond O O minus. Okay, this is what glycinate. What is the density of this glycinate? Density, if you see, one nitrogen site and oxygen, these two donor site will be there, so it will be bonded with the metal like this. Okay, so what is the density? Density will be 2. How come? It is a bidentate ligand. Two donor site are there, nitrogen and oxygen. And the second one is immunodiacetic acid. What is immunodiacetic acid? What is the immunodiacetic acid? It is a derivative of glycinate. Here, if you see glycine, here one hydrogen has been removed with a CH2COH group. That is what immunodiacetic acid. If you are taking that CH2C double bond OH, it has become NH. Okay, NH, then again CH2 C double bond OH. This is what immunodiacetic acid. If you are seeing there are two oxygen donors, two sides of oxygen and one nitrogen. This three sides are there bonding with the metal. It will make a coordination bond with the metal. So what is the, this is a tridentate ligand. What is the density? 3 is the density. And the next one is NTA. What is NTA? Nitritotriacetic acid. That means one more hydrogen has been replaced. This hydrogen also has been replaced by CH2COH. Okay, and this is CH2COH. This is what NDA. And if you see how many donor sites are there, 1 oxygen, 2 oxygen, 3 oxygen and 4. So it is a tetradentate ligand. NDA is a tetradentate. So your answer is 2, 3 and 4. Glycine, immunodiacetic acid and NDA. Immunodiacetic acid and NDA is the derivative of this glycine. Okay, clear? And density has been represented by kappa. K. Okay, this is the letter representing the density. Not only these ligands, this time they asked about this ligand density. There are many ligands, multidentate ligands. We will see few more examples. The next time we will be getting some other question also for density. We will see few more examples, then it will be clear for you. What is the density of EDTA, ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid? It is a hexadentate. 6 is the density. What is the structure of EDTA? CH2CH2N. This is what EDTA. How many donors are there? 1, 2, 2 nitrogen is there. 1 oxygen from here, 1 oxygen from here. I am just putting a dot here, here. So how many donors are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So EDTA is a hexadentate ligand. And next one I am writing salicylaldehyde anion. Salicylaldehyde means this is salicylaldehyde, right? CH, this is what? Salicylaldehyde. This anion means this will be like this. How many donor sites is there? 2 oxygen, right? This side and this side, 2 donor site is there. This is a bidentate ligand. This is what? Salicylaldehyde anion. So this is salicylaldehyde anion, bidentate ligand. And acetyl acetone. What is acetyl acetone? C double bond CH3, and this double bond will be, this is what? Chelate formation. Okay, this will be rotating like this. This is also a bidentate ligand. 2 oxygen atoms are there. This is also a bidentate ligand. This is what? Acetyl acetone. And then you have heard about chlorophyll, right? Porphyrin ring. What is porphyrin ring? This is a porphyrin ring, right? Nitrogen. All the nitrogen was coordinated to the 4 nitrogen will be there. 4 nitrogen will be coordinated to the metal. Magnesium, cobalt, like this you can take. Chlorophyll or vitamin B12. All those things are porphyrin ring. What is the density of this porphyrin ring? It is a tetradentate ligand. 4 nitrogen atoms in this corner will be coordinating with the metal. What is this? 1 and 10 phenanthroline. This is also 2 nitrogen atoms are there. That is a 2 electron donor. So two-side coordination it will be. So it will be a bidentate ligand. Like that catechol, if you are taking how many? 2 OH groups are there, right? O minus it will come. So these all are bidentate ligand. Anything they can ask for density. So you should know the structure of these complexes. So these all are the thing. It will form a ring-like structure. That is what we call as chelates. These complexes are forming chelates with the metal. What is a chelate? Why it is forming the chelate? It is forming the chelate. Why? Because first, to attain the effective atomic number rule. Formation of chelate is why? Because it has to attain the effective atomic number, noble gas configuration. Second one is this symmetrically allowed structure is having a higher CFSE, crystal field stabilization energy. So the complex will be stable. That is why these chelates are forming. This is what density and chelate formation. Syllabus section 2, the next is valence bond theory, crystal field theory, magnetism and all. And your preliminary examination question paper, you can see there are many questions about the topic. Tomorrow I'll be continuing with the same. So I will be solving all the questions and I will be taking the class as per the syllabus also, solving the question paper also. And I have read all your comments, and personally I was not able to reply for everything because of some unavoidable situation. I was unable to take the class. Don't worry, I will be finishing all your 13 number topics. If you are seeing your syllabus, there are 13 topics they were saying. All the things I will finish and I will solve the question papers also before Feb 21st. And hereafter I will be taking the classes continuously if no other interference have come. Okay, so hope you understand it well. To be continued. Thank you for watching.